It is the podcast studio, ongoing insights with people from across the ecosystem. Some are established companies, we know them, and we've seen them. Now we have an established company that we're going to see again in a different light. Can I say that? Avi Das, Chief Revenue Officer from Aarki, which is, yes, a name I've known for a long time. It stands for something, but now it's going to stand for something else. What is the rebrand? What is the new Aarki about?
Yeah, Peggy, thanks for having us. We're excited because today is actually day one of Aarki 2.0.
Wow, it's like Amazon here. It's the day one.
It's day one. It's always day one at Amazon, but it is definitely day one today for Aarki 2.0. We're excited because you asked the question, what does Aarki 2.0 stand for? I think there are three key things for us. One, the fact that we're now an independent DSP. We went through an acquisition of Skills, as you're aware, a few years back. We've spun out because we believe that the mission we are trying to serve is best done operating small, nimble, quick. We have a new team. I've been here for 3 months. 70% of our organization is less than a year old. But most importantly for people in this space, they care less about those two things, they care about performance. But that's what Aarki 2.0 is going to stand for, is new tech and new products that we're very excited about.
And are you calling yourself Aarki 2.0, or is that just like the whole thing? It's just Aarki, but same name, new identity.
Same name, new identity.
Okay, good, because I got used to that. I got very used.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Aarki by name, Aarki 2.0 in spirit.
Got it. I like that, in spirit. Well, it's great to have a new focus, a new identity, a new voice in the industry. But hey, it's crowded out there. There are a lot of loud voices out there. So yes, you are independent and you are a different company. But what are you going to do to differentiate yourself?
Being in the performance marketing space, we're only as good as our performance is going to be.
Yeah, true.
So Aarki 2.0's core performance pillar is our new machine learning algorithm, which is two sub-pillars, if you will. The first is a new neural network-based model, which immediately places us in a smaller group in the DSP space. Very few people have that technology, and we're confident that in having that technology, that will translate to better performance for our customers. And ML that we are lovingly calling MOBO. You may ask, what is MOBO?
Yeah.
MOBO is short for multi-objective bid optimization. Much less charming than MOBO.
Yeah.
It essentially deals with the pricing challenges that DSPs face. We're in a first pricing auction space. Yeah. It's important to get your price right. I know we have Chaitanya here, and he can get into the details. But MOBO essentially helps us price our bids right. And our neural net model helps us find the right users. So find the right users with the right price translates to good performance for our customers.
But you said also it sort of puts you, I wouldn't say in a different part of the industry, not a niche necessarily, but there's going to be a certain type of performance marketer that appreciates working with you. What are you looking for in them? They're going to be looking for performance in you, but I don't think everybody can line up to work with you.
That is correct. So our ideal customer is someone who already invests in performance marketing, so has probably made the journey of moving from brand marketing to performance marketing, has worked with the self-attributing networks, has dipped their toes with other DSPs, and is now looking to expand their programmatic base with the next DSP that can help them get that incremental user. That's the kind of customer we're looking for.
Yeah. And then you need to be very clear about their objectives and the type of user they're looking for. I mean, your neural network will make some of that matching, but there has to be some level of understanding that in advance. So it is a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't say only, but I would say that's the way to get the most value out of Aarki. What would you say is a way to apply this better? You know, it's one thing to have technology, and we'll have another interview that looks just at technology, but there's a way to do it properly, smartly, and really effectively. So what are you telling marketers how to get the most out of what you're offering?
Yeah, I'd say one of the things that we're going to be doing differently is, while we're proud of the technology, and we're going to stand behind it. That's not the only thing we're offering.
Yeah.
Our offering goes well beyond that into some very interesting things that we're building on a privacy first, for the privacy first environment that we're in. I'll leave you with a teaser and then let Chaitanya come in with more details. Dynamic cohorts based on work that we've done before. That again, privacy compliant. That's something we're excited about. Creative services. Aarki's always been known for its creative studio. People who know Aarki 1.0 know Aarki's creative studio. We're doubling down on that. So it's going to be a combination of the tech. It's going to be a combination of our very deep, experience in working with customers in solving their re-engagement and acquisition challenges. And it's going to be a very hands-on team that delivers both creative value and optimization value at a granular level that I think will set us apart.
So performance, but also benefits from performance that run throughout the cycle, because you're not just looking at top of the funnel. With that, is it all segments, all genres of apps, or is it, again, it's always the best performance marketers are in gaming, but I'm hearing so much more from non-gaming apps who want to, I go to a pun, up their game, but no, seriously. Is there an opportunity there as well? Are you looking at that more actively?
We are. So as a company, again, Aarki 1.0 has been known to be more gaming focused.
Yes.
Aarki 2.0 already has some wins. We have some wins under our belt from global brands like Swiggy, for instance, in APAC, which is a delivery company.
Yeah.
It's a published case study. And others that we're working on do not have published case studies with them yet. But the intention is this. Our technology is capable of solving challenges irrespective of gaming or non-gaming. In my experience at a previous employer, I've worked with a lot of non-gaming customers. That's my top priority, is to get this technology in front of our non-gaming advertisers.
I'm also thinking about something you said before about getting the bidding right, getting the pricing right. What sort of range is there for this, and how close are marketers from the ideal, or is this something where this is totally different benchmarks, totally different approach, and something that they really have to get their head around?
I'm in sales, so I have to be careful of not overselling things, but I will say this. I'm trying to be objective here.
I'm just trying to understand the range of what the price is, right?
The challenge is well known, which is the industry has moved from second price bids to first price bids.
Right.
Now that's brought with it the challenge of what should anyone be bidding. And that's a challenge we're trying to solve. Now the reason we're feeling confident about our approach, the industry has looked at bid shading, which is a single objective optimization. We've built technology that looks at other factors outside of just bid price to be able to identify the right bid value.
What is your contribution to this? What contribution are you making as CRO? That's a very, very different role than you've had before. Going to bundle in a lot of your previous experience, but what are you going to do to define this role for yourself?
That's a great question. So for me, the brand that I stand for is one of being a consultative partner for our customers. That's the brand that I want Aarki 2.0's revenue team to stand for globally. You're going to see a lot more from us in markets like the Americas, US, North America, and South America, because that's where we're going to double down on our efforts initially. But we've got folks in 7 other regions, Europe, APAC. What customers can expect, irrespective of region, is a team that is committed to understanding what your challenges are. And like I said before, it doesn't stand behind a product, but in fact is able to bring their knowledge and their understanding of the ecosystem to deliver value that's different from what they're getting from everybody else.
Well, in these times, you do need consultative approaches, advice. It is not straightforward. And you are bringing a new brand identity to the table and to the ecosystem. It's going to be very interesting to watch you, Avi. Thanks so much for coming, sharing, and hey, this is it. This is day one. So go out there and celebrate this.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
And this is a great way to do it. Thanks for, what can I say, the scoop.
Absolutely. Thanks, Peggy.
And we continue our journey into the new Aarki, the Aarki 2.0, same name, new presence, new identity, new
That's
focus. And now we can geek out a little bit and get to the new products too as well,
Absolutely.
because we have Chaitanya Upadhyay, Chief Product Officer. As I've said, we can geek out about product because that's at the core
That is
of
at
the new
core.
Aarki.
Yes. So when we started off as Aarki 1.0, I think this was about 12 to 14 years ago, it was building on ML technology, AI technology that existed at that time, and it did really, really very well. Over the past 2-3 years, what I think Aarki realized was that it had to take the next step. How do we scale? How do we optimize with the changing industry? So I've been at the company for about 8 months now, and most of the executive team has been around for about a year. So it's not just Aarki 2.0 day one, as Avi had just mentioned. It's almost like day one for the entire executive team.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the first things that we started looking at was, okay, if we want to move to the next level, we want to go to 2.0, what's it going to take for us? And we quickly realized that our machine learning infrastructure needed to be updated. We had to kind of rip out the guts and rebuild it to match what the industry is doing today, right? And catch up and move ahead. Like, what is it that is going to, as you were saying, what is it that's going to separate us from the rest?
Yeah.
There are a few people who are doing what we are doing, but then we are among the few who are doing what we're doing, and how do we differentiate ourselves from those few?
Right.
So maybe we can dig into a little bit about, again, the 3 pillars that we have kind of built Aarki 2.0 around. It's all about giving the right hook to the right user and doing it at the right price. And that's where our 3 core pillars come in, which is our unified creative strategy to build the right hook, right?
Okay.
That, I believe, is part of our core product offering as well.
So it's about optimizing creative.
Optimizing creatives.
Yeah.
We have a fairly large creative team, and they've been with Aarki 1.0. They're now part with Aarki 2.0 as well, where they have the industry knowledge, they have the data on what works, what mechanics work, and can they build the right creatives.
Okay.
Now, once you have the right creatives, you want to go and reach out to the right people. But in reaching out to the right people, you got to make sure that you are doing it in a privacy-aware world, in a privacy-centric way. And we have been building technology, we have been building algorithms where we are going more into an ID-less world, where we can use signals from bid requests, we can use various characteristics that we see as we are looking at the different auctions and build, as Avi was mentioning, dynamic cohorts. I don't say dynamic segments, I say dynamic cohorts of users, because segments is more ID based. A cohort is more
Cohort is
like
also based on action in the app. It's going to be more fluid.
It's going to be more fluid.
And it's going to give me an idea of something that's not necessarily about being real time, but being really relevant to the segment.
Exactly. Yeah? You got it.
Hey,
right?
I just thought it out.
There you go.
No, but I got it immediately because you don't want it. You don't want a segment. A segment is static.
Exactly.
You want a cohort driven by how they interact.
Exactly. A dynamic virtual cohort where we're going to fit the right user in, and where we find the right user is based on our machine learning and our AI technology. One thing that I keep talking about is the difference between ML and AI, and what is ML, what is AI, and that can be a completely different podcast.
Yeah, and then we can go to narrow AI. We can do it all day long.
We can do it all day long, but I think we are looking at machine learning as a way of reinforcing what we are seeing and building our models, training our models on the data that we see, and then letting our AI determine in real time the bids that are coming and the users that we see, do they fall into those dynamic cohorts or not?
And then you
right?
can determine.
And then
the
you can
price.
determine the right price. The
Because
MOBO,
you know what value
exactly.
you're going to get.
That's
for the
where
price.
MOBO comes
Okay.
in on top of our AI. Well, I would say it's part of our AI or multi-objective bid optimizer. It's a mouthful. MOBO.
Yeah.
I like that a lot more better. Where MOBO comes in and determines what the right price is. And if you break that down further a little bit, Avi mentioned something about neural networks and what is it that we are trying to do over here with neural networks. Very simply, the way that I look at it is I want to get from point A to point B, and the different signals that I have that I need to evaluate, and what are the what signals and the interactions between the various signals, which one should I give more weightage to? And if I can determine that signal 1 and signal 2 give me a particular weight towards an outcome that I want, how many such signals can I find? And as I'm looking at bids coming in real time, can I actually traverse all those signals that I see based on the training that I've done and the weights that I have determined to reach that point B that I want to be at?
Because it's going to be different with each different type of marketer, depending on the objective or how much they even want to share with you about what they're looking for in their objectives. So you're going to work with different data sets, different signals. It's not going to be always the same.
Yes, and it depends upon the clients, right? I mean, the clients have different KPIs. Someone's looking for installs, someone's looking for ROAS, day 7 ROAS versus a day 30 ROAS. So we have to we train our models based on the different outcomes that the clients are looking for. Now, to be able to train, obviously you need the data. And I think the one advantage that we have is, one, we are plugged into every single exchange that exists in the world out there. And we are at about 5 million QPS. We are seeing a lot of data that has come through our pipes. Now we're using that data to glean the information that we need to be able to connect the dots and be able to traverse that path from point A to point B, again to your point, depending upon what the marketer is looking for.
So what are you able to see in the data? Because everyone in the industry, it's all about devouring all the data you can get. So, you take your report from, I was going to say data AI, but Sensor Tower, you take that data, you've got top of the funnel data, you've got, I just did some work reporting about what a spender looks like, so that's another part of data, all these different data sets. So misplaced spender report to data AI, Sensor Tower, what's happening in various regions. What kind of data are you seeing, and where does that plug into my holistic view of what I need to know in order to to market and make my app successful and meet my objectives?
Great question. So we actually rely a lot on our first party data, and the first party data being the auction data that we see, right? Now, how we use it, how we normalize the interchange or how each signal interoperates with a different signal, that's the proprietary algorithm that our data science team has spent a lot of time on, right? That these particular combinations of different signals will lead to a certain outcome and how much weightage to give it. And as you build on these various signals and the interoperation of these various signals, that's the deep neural network that we talk about, getting from point A to point B based on the first party data that we have, that we normalize based on proprietary algorithms.
So what's something actionable from all of this? Something to share. You're the new Aarki, you have these insights, you have this focus. How can marketers apply it? What's maybe something interesting in the data, surprising in the data, something that tells them how they need to run their business in 2024?
We are starting to put out case studies now in terms of what we are seeing, right? And I think a lot of the interesting data that we are seeing is coming out from how we apply our bid optimization or our multi-objective bid optimizer, right? We have actually seen that if we can we can bring the bid price down closest to what the floor bid is, right? And that's the algorithm that MOBO does. It's not just doing a bid shading, it's looking at various other factors such as the user history. It's looking at where the user has done purchases, how many losses they've had, how many wins they've had. Taking all that information, it's able to come up with a particular bid price. And if you can take that savings that you get and apply it towards going after users who you might find at a higher bid bucket, who come at a higher price, because
okay.
that inventory, because they are found in inventory that is a little bit more expensive. So it's all about saving
You
the
get
money.
what you pay for, though. All
Exactly.
the time. All the time.
Yep, you do. But if you can save money for your marketer, and then apply that money to go acquire the much more expensive users,
Got
you
it.
will see better ROI.
Got
And
it.
we are seeing a much better, almost 50 to 70% better ROI just applying these mobile algorithms on it. So that is one of the big findings I think that we noticed.
That's a huge savings. So what is it? It's by applying and saying, okay, this is sort of the baseline for me, and this is where I'll go and what I'm going to pay. But I will keep in mind that I want to get higher quality users. So I'm going to keep the funnel going. I'm going to feed the funnel. I'm going to keep getting good users, but by, I think, budgeting on good to pay for valuable.
To pay for exactly. Can I hire you?
Oh, well, you know, I do some. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm not a marketer. Maybe that's the trick here, because I look at it from a business perspective. I look at the business of apps. I'm saying, because, again, always loyal users. They are made, not born. So if they're fairly good, they can be very good. It's what we call in marketing. They talk about the movable middle right now very much. You know, you say to yourself, people at the end, they're going to hate the app. Forget it. Don't even bother. And you got to let them go. People at the high end, they love you. You're okay. This part here, all those bits and all those movements, just moving someone just a little bit counts
towards that.
So see, it's totally aligned with the thinking overall in marketing right now, which is about identifying and moving the middle, which is what you're trying to do.
There you go.
With your tech.
Absolutely.
So you're on target.
Yep.
So it's a good time for Aarki, I think.
It's a very good time for Aarki.
I think it's a perfect storm of conditions here for you.
I think so. We are super excited.
Makes sense.
We are here to talk a lot about it. I know you'll be talking to our CEO, Aman Sareen, a little bit later.
Yeah.
And hear more about this.
But we had a better chat.
Well,
he could be jealous. I'm just kidding. Thank you for making it understandable, accessible. I'll be watching it because I am a little bit geeky in that respect. And when you start bringing out the data on what you're seeing in terms of the savings or the costs, because the middle matters.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've learned that now. We don't really have much of a choice. So great. I have to thank you again for sharing, making it accessible, and go out there and celebrate. Because this is a great time for you. You do this at Mao. There's no better place to party.
Right. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.